Happy Friday, and because it's Friday, that means it's time for another episode of How's My Budget? Now, on this series, I am showing you all the real numbers of what it takes to earn money, to save your money, to invest your money, and to become a millionaire. So every single year, there are new millionaires minted in the US. Last year in 2024, there were 379,000 new millionaires. 70% of them were self-made. And we always hear from these folks after they made their first million of how they did it. But on this series, I'm showing you the journey to actually arrive to $1 million. And yeah, I'm 28 years old. I'm Jacob, as you probably guessed. And I'm debt-free. I have $677,000, and I'm sharing the rest of my journey of getting to $1 million by the time I'm 32 with you. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you like content like this, and then we'll dive right into it. So getting into things, I've made some changes. If you're one of my 27 subscribers on here so far, you know how I was doing things in the past, and you'll see how things have changed a little bit. And if you're new here for the first time, then welcome. It doesn't really matter if I made changes or not. It's all the same to you. So getting into it, I want to show you that what I was doing before was I had this budget set for $1,000 a month for groceries, $348 a month for my wants, $668 for my expenses, rent was $1,200, savings was $1,000, and then I was investing $784 at the end of the month, which was like 15% of my income, all making up $5,000 a month, which is my total household income right now, $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year. I realized that this was too basic for me at this point in my life. My life has changed a lot just over the past 2 months. I recently moved from Buenos Aires to the south of Chile, here in Patagonia. I'm in the Andes Mountains. And for the past 6 years, I've been in Buenos Aires. I've been working in the technology sector. I've been teaching English. I've been doing a lot of stuff just to get a dollar, just to try to get ahead and to build some wealth. But on my way down here, I spent over $400 just traveling over 3 days, driving like a full day's worth, 24 hours worth of travel and splitting it up. And I started to just kind of get confused in my own budget. Like, how do I put money into my wants whenever I'm spending more on gas than what I normally would for this trip? And my expenses are changing because I'm moving locations, and my groceries are different costs now than what they used to be. And life's just changing a lot. And Darwin has this great quote that it's something like, you know, not the smartest and not the fittest survive, but those who can adapt to change survive. And I realized I needed to make a change to my budget. So I've been way too strict on myself just over the past 2 weeks on trying to stick to this like $87 a week on my wants. Like, oh, I can't go out to eat because that's going to cost me $60. I'm only going to have $27 left. And my wife and I have been working really hard over the past 5 years to get to where we are right now. So as I mentioned, we have $677,000 as a total net worth right now. And our household income going back from 2021 to now has been, we've earned a total of $788,000. So in 2021, we made $125,000, 2022, $139,000, 2023, $161,000, 2024, $168,000, and 2025, this year, so far, we made $195,000. A lot of that had to do with the company I was working for got acquired and I sold equity in it. I made $164,000 the first 4 months out of the year. That was amazing. And that's what's put me in such a good spot right now. And when I look at my total contributions in my brokerage account from 2021, where I really kicked off my career in the software industry, to now, I've contributed $471,000 into my brokerage account and my retirement accounts and stuff like that, giving me that value of $677,000 right now. So breaking that down, it's like over the past 5 years, not even full 5 years, but from 2021 to now, July of 2025, we've earned $788,000, and we've invested $471,000 of it and only spent $317,000 of it. So our rate of investment has been at 59.7%, and our spend has been at 40.3%. We've been working really hard to get to where we are right now. and I've just had my foot on the pedal of the car. I'm trying to get to this $1 million by the time I'm 32. I was trying to get there by the time I was 30 with some help with some therapy. I was told I need to calm down, that it's probably good for my mental health if I calm down. But it's been tough. Like even last month, if you go back to my budget videos, I was aiming to save $784 for the month of June, and I saved $2,500 and invested it. Why? I don't know. I've been a complete maniac when it comes to investing and building wealth, and it's been hard for me to kind of take my foot off the accelerator and just enjoy life a little bit. So to give an example, over the past 5 years, my wife and I also have been traveling a lot. Like I'm trying to think of all the places we've gone. We were in the Galapagos in Ecuador just a few months ago. We love to scuba dive. We've been all over Argentina, from vineyards in Mendoza and vineyards in the north in a place called Cafayate, and many times we've been down here to the south, just traveling around the mountains, skiing, having fun, doing cookouts, just going to the lake, renting cars, and gone to the US a couple times too. We've been to Mexico. We love to scuba dive. Went to Mexico to scuba dive. That's what took us to the Galapagos also. Been to the furthest southern point of Argentina. Been to the glaciers. The end of the world is what they call it. And going back to Darwin, these are some of the same places Darwin's traveled to. So we love to travel. And really that's why we've been super savers, super investors, is so we could afford to travel to all these places. I love photography. I love flying my drone around, especially travel photography. And my wife enjoys these things too, and just eating good food while we're on the road and stuff like that. So we've worked really hard just to build up this big nest egg of cash that can keep reproducing more cash for us through compound interest. And it's been hard for me to accept the fact that right now I'm doing something different with my life. I'm like moving from selling software to now I'm getting into starting this YouTube channel and helping people financially with their goals and budgets and stuff. And whenever we got here just last week, I think it was last week, no, Sunday, I mean, just within the past 6 days we got here, we wanted to go do something that was going to cost us $160. And it was going to these natural geothermic like hot springs up in the mountains, and it was going to cost $162 for both of us to go, like $80 a person. And my wants right now, right, for the week are at $87. So I said, well, we can't afford that. We need to save money for 2 weeks to go one time. And that was just absolutely ridiculous. We don't need to save $87 for 2 weeks to then go to some geothermic spot one time for the month. The whole reason we came to Patagonia was so we could get out more on the weekends. We were all cooped up in our home in the city in Buenos Aires. I was working 50 to 60 hours a week. That was my life. My wife does the same, and that's all we were doing. We didn't go out to restaurants much. We didn't do anything. We were just focused on investing and building wealth. So now the whole point of coming here was to get out of that routine, start a new career, do something different. And whenever I started breaking down the numbers and I said, hey, like if I put my numbers into a compound interest calculator, just over the next 32 years, by the time I'm 60, if I put in my whole net worth is $677,000 and I just let it ride on 10% interest, what the stock market compounds into, at the age of 60, I'm gonna have $14.2 million. So my wife and I talked it over, and we were both, again, like, Jacob, you need to calm down, right? Like if we never even invest another dollar again, we're gonna have this $14.2 million as long as we don't touch the money we currently have. And we have cash coming in every month. We still have $5,000 coming in every month through some other work. And I said, okay, my wife is right. So I have completely redone our budget. It's not as basic anymore, and it's not as focused on trying to squeeze every cent, dollar, whatever out of our income that's coming in for the month and investing it. So here is the new budget I've created, and it's going to be a lot better whenever I can actually now break down some things into the categories. If you've been following along, you know that like I've been doing a lot of weird stuff, playing with numbers and moving dog food over to my wants for the week. It just didn't make a lot of sense. So here's what we're doing now. I have this $60,000 salary for the year, $5,000 a month. This is also varies on some different commission and stuff. Sometimes it's more, but base is always $5,000 a month. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to invest 14% of my income. Now you saw I was investing 60% of my income in the past. So 14%, it's been like a tough pill to swallow. But that's what I'm like doing this for my wife and I. I'm going to say, let's like actually start spending some money and having more fun on a regular basis, not just a few vacations a year. So we're going to, ultimately our goal is just to make sure we can still invest $700 a month. So that's going to put our grocery spend at $275 a week. That's $1,100 a month. That might sound like a lot, and it for two people, and it probably is going to be a lot. I will say though that we're coming from Argentina to Chile, and in Argentina I was buying a ton of New York strip. They call it bife de chorizo, and it was $7 a pound. I eat steak like 2-3 times a day, and it's not just all for nothing. I do like to work out a lot. Here's a photo of me just from 2 days ago taking a cold shower in those hot springs and stuff. So I do like to work out. I like to build muscle. I need my protein and everything. But I got here and steak is like $10, $11 a pound versus $7 a pound Argentina. Eggs are more, it's like $1 more per every 30 eggs. And that stuff adds up because I don't really eat things that come in packages. I really only eat whole foods. I like to drink good wine. And so yeah, it's kind of expensive to eat like that, but I think it's worth it and I like it. So $275 a week on groceries, $1,100 a month. This could change over time, we'll see. I don't think so though. My rent, I did have it at $1,200. I'm now doing $1,300 a month because $1,200 is really kind of close. We're living out of Airbnbs right now, and the Airbnbs are great because we don't have other expenses like gas and you know, like the utilities of water and things like that, electricity. Airbnb, the owner covers it all. But I already have this pay schedule from Airbnb. In some months it's over $1,200, and I just hate cutting it so close. So I just said, hey, let's start budgeting for $1,300 a month. And if it comes in a little bit less, then we'll have that extra $50 or $100, whatever it is, for the month to set back. And if it's near 13, that's fine. That's what we're budgeting for. So then I have my lifestyle maintenance. This is a new one that I created. It used to be like my wants, where I was spending my $87 a week. Now I call it lifestyle maintenance. And here's what happened. In this category, I have like pet care, nails, shoe polish, supplements, stuff like that. And my wife would need to go get her nails done, and I'd have to put that in the wants. And then my dog would need toothpaste, and I need to put that in my wants. And it just got so confusing. And then I'd try to go out to dinner, and I'm like, well, that's a want also. But like getting dog toothpaste and me going out and enjoying a dinner with my wife on a date night are two totally different things. And they're all going in the same category. So it started getting confusing for me. So I broke this down to lifestyle maintenance stuff, random toiletries, I don't know, some cologne, whatever. It all goes in here. I'm spending $100 a week. That's $400 a month. My fixed expenses, this does include like my phone bill, my internet I don't have anymore now because I'm in this Airbnb, but I do have like subscriptions to HBO and Photoshop and stuff like that. The gym, the maid, and yeah, so that's like fixed expenses I can't change. And then I have my experiences. Now this is the big one where I'm now taking from what I was trying to save for my investments, and this is what I was doing to save so much money in the past. Was I just never went out. I lived in the city. I never went out. I'd go out like once every 6 weeks to have a couple drinks with friends, grab a coffee, and that was it. But I wouldn't go out to dinners. And if you're not familiar with living in a city, I don't think there's much to do in a city except for to go spend money in the city and going out to restaurants and theaters and stuff like that. So I didn't do that stuff. And so now I'm spending $200 a week, or I'm aiming to spend $200 a week. I'm literally trying to now spend $200 a week on going out and having fun. That's why I came to the mountains, so I can go to hot springs and go to, I don't know, rent ATVs or snowmobiles or go skiing and stuff like that. This is what I want to be out here doing and why I came here. So I'm pushing myself to spend this $200 a week now, which would be $800 a month. And then lastly, all of that spent then gives me that $700 a month left to invest, which is 14% of my income. Now, I think 14% of my income is a great number to be investing. I will say that if you're trying to build wealth fast, then 14% is not enough of your income unless you're making like $500,000 a year. Then that's a lot of money. But if you're not, you're making less than $100,000 a year. If you're making $100,000 a year, that's only $14,000. You'll build wealth by the time you're 50, 60 years old. But if you're in your 20s or 30s, it's not really a whole lot of money if you're trying to build wealth quick. As you saw, I was saving 60% of my income and investing it before I got to this point. I'm only comfortable investing 14% of my income now because I have so much money already set back where, you know, I'm looking at $14 million by the time I'm 60 without investing another cent. So I feel good about that. And if you have any questions about what I like to invest into, I do prefer Vanguard's VGT Information Technology Fund and Vanguard's VTI Total Stock Market ETF. Those are really the only two things I'm buying these days. So here is my budget. I do it from Fridays to Thursdays. I used to do Saturday to Sunday, or was that it? No, Sunday to Saturday, but then I was creating these videos on Sunday and it was miserable. It sucked. I hated it. So I changed my budget schedule from Fridays to Thursdays. That's my 7 days of the week that I'm spending money. And you can see here that this was my budget for the past 7 days. Friday, July 4th, last Friday, to yesterday, Thursday, July 10th. So here's everything that my budget should be. So we have the groceries should be $275 a week, as we just went over. Lifestyle maintenance, $100 a week. Experiences and discretionary, $200 a week. Fixed expenses, $175 a week. And then my rent and my investments, those are really kind of paid near the end of the month. So this week, my actual spend for groceries was $245.56, a little bit lower than this $275, that's fine. My lifestyle maintenance was at $260.86. That's way over, but we're going to jump into the technical side of like the actual spend and everything I did for this past week. That's kind of the fun part of here on this show, is to show you that you can still have fun living your life while saving and investing and building a better future for yourself. So we'll get into that here in a minute. Experiences and discretionary, I spent $196.80. My goal was $200. Fixed expenses, I spent $143.81. My goal was $175. So I'm good there. For total spend this week, X rent, because that comes in at the end of the month, my total spend should be $750 a week. That's how much I should be spending a week. I spent $847, so we'll have to make some adjustments with this whole new budget I got going on, but we'll figure it out. My total monthly spend right now is at $2,526.83. That will include the rent that I owe at the end of the month, which is $11.99. And yeah, so I should be here at $5,000 for the month. My total spend should be $4,300 by the time the month is over. And then down here we have my net worth. Right now it's at $677,284. My emergency fund, I got a little over $16,000. And my savings, I don't believe in saving money because I don't have anything to save money for right now. You should never be saving money unless you have something to be saving for. If not, then you should just be investing it. Investing is to invest in the future, invest in the unknown. Saving is to save for something. I'm not saving for anything right now. So I have $0 in savings. So let's break down now everything that I actually spent this week. I'll show you kind of the fun stuff I've been spending my money on, the things that I didn't really want to spend my money on, but I still had to because, you know, as an adult, we got expenses. So going over to my groceries, I spent the $219.03 at the supermarket. Then I actually went back to the supermarket and got $26 worth of spices because I'm in this Airbnb again, and they just didn't have anything from salt to pepper to anything. So I had to go buy my own spices. I did spend $245.56. That's okay. I'm still trying to figure out everything. I can't talk. Whenever I went to the supermarket, I felt like I got just enough food to barely scrape by for the week, and like I was down to just mixing ground beef and chicken just to have food. So I'm not sure what this is going to be going into the future. I'm just trying to keep it on $275. I'm sure I'll keep it on $275. We'll figure it out. The lifestyle maintenance, this is where I'm spending that $100 a week. This is a little confusing for myself, and this is the whole reason that I started doing the different experiences and discretionary versus lifestyle maintenance and separating these out, because I have dinner on the road because we stopped to get dinner. My wife and I, we drove from Buenos Aires to Chile. We stopped multiple times to eat. So I spent like $60 at one restaurant, and I got a ham and cheese sandwich for $10. Then we had to stay at a hotel, which was $91. And I had to buy special insurance just to enter the country of Chile. And I don't know, like yogurt, $8.80 that we got on the road. Got another dinner, and then facial creams, you know? So it's kind of confusing where we have all this travel stuff and then I have facial cream. Realistically, what I would like is moving forward, anything that involves me traveling and experiencing life in a fun way. This is me doing a big move, making a big life change. This is travel, this is experience. This should belong over here, and my experiences and discretionary part of my budget. And then facial creams would stay here. But we did spend a lot of gas for our car, and we spent like $200 or more just in gas driving all that way. And so I'm still trying to figure all this out. Moving forward, I have it figured out. I already have it figured out. Just for here in the past 2 weeks, before I made all these adjustments to my budget, I'm just kind of leaving them in here. So we hit that $260 for the week, and our goal was $100. We are at $260. I will have to make adjustments for this upcoming week so I don't spend as much money, because this money has been spent. I still need to account for it, and I'll show you what I'm going to do here for that at the end. So the experiences and discretionary, I did throw some of this gas that we had to spend on here, $34 worth of gas. But the real fun that we had was whenever we went to this place called Salto Leon. And this is the hot geothermic place, the geothermic water, the hot springs up in the mountains that we went to. I got to fly my drone around. There was a beautiful waterfall in the middle of the forest, and then we were able to get some good wine, which is pretty cheap. The wine was only like $7, and it was 12 months in the barrel, and we got some roasted pork, and I don't know, we just hung out in the hot tub. My wife and I got to enjoy ourselves, and it was a Wednesday. I love that. I love that it was a Wednesday too. But this is the life that we've been building up for ourselves. So we had a really good time, but it cost $162. For the week, we're trying to spend $196 for the week, or we're trying to spend $200 for the week. We spent $196. So we did good there. We didn't do good over here on the lifestyle maintenance. I think some of this belongs over here. It's a little manipulated, but it's all right. We got it figured out moving forward. Lastly, we have the fixed expenses, and I got some new ones on here. So I started going to a new gym that we found out here, and it was $42 a person, so $84 a month. That also included like a one-time fee, $5, so it's going to be just a little less by like $5 next month, but it's really the same. Then this kerosene. So we have this heater in the house that heats up our entire Airbnb, well, mainly just the living room and kitchen area. It works really well, but it takes kerosene, and it probably takes, I don't know how big the jug is. Actually, let me go get it. All right, so it takes this giant thing of kerosene right here. It doesn't say. It says 10 liters. It's 10 liters of kerosene, and I have to fill up that heater like, I don't know, every 2 days. It really depends on how cold my wife feels. But I like to save money. You know, I'll just throw a coat on. All right, so that does cost $11.05 more or less to fill up. I filled it up again yesterday. It was $11.59. So about $11 every 2 days. I try to keep it to that minimum. And then we did get a maid. She cost $37 every time that she comes. And she cleans the entire place. She does a great job. I was paying $20 per session, or per time a maid was coming in Buenos Aires. Not very expensive. Here it's a little bit more expensive. So I cannot clean though. I absolutely hate cleaning. I think it's a waste of my time. Why do I need to pass a vacuum and dust and stuff whenever someone else can do it for $37? I wasn't going to do it, and I told my wife on Tuesday, I was like, I'll wake up, I'll go clean and everything. So I have my alarm set at 5:15. I get up, I eat breakfast. It's 6:30, and I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm gonna vacuum this place and clean. I called the maid. So the maid is totally worth it. I had to throw that in my expenses, and those are fixed expenses. No way am I not having a maid at my house ever in my life. I can't clean. So we spent $143 for the week on our fixed expenses. Our goal is $175. So overall, we're doing really good on the spend. And what I need to do now, though, is we did come way over on the week for these lifestyle maintenances things. And it does have to come from somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to limit myself this week on how much money I spend going out and having fun, on my experiences and my discretionary. That's kind of like the number one category that if I need to cut back on anything, I can cut back on my experiences and discretionary. I don't have to go to hot springs. I don't have to go out and buy some wine. I don't have to do anything like that. I can just choose not to. And this week, I need to cut back a little bit. So we were $160.86 over on the lifestyle maintenance stuff from last week. And to make up for this, so we're not over budget for the end of the month, we basically need to cut back this week by that same amount, $160.86. So I need $160.86 right here. This is gonna be my backlog. So this week, I really only have 200 minus 160.86. So this week I only have $39.14 to spend on my experiences and discretionary, which is totally fine. We had a lot of fun this past week, going to those hot springs. Getting here to Chile costs a lot of money. It's just the way it is. You know, life isn't all about money, but unfortunately we need money to fund life. So this week I do need to limit myself to $39.14. So this is my budget. This is everything, how it looks. I do feel like I'm on a really good pace right now for the month, especially with all the craziness that's been going on. So yeah, I hope that this helped you create your budget. Make sure to just always be adapting. Make sure to say no to things you don't want. Becoming a millionaire involves making everyday smart choices, being able to say no to things and not say yes to everything. You don't become a millionaire overnight. It takes years. It's taken me 5 years just to get to where I am. It's going to take me probably another 4 years just to hit that $1 million mark. As you see right here, this is how it's done. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you like this. Every single week, I'm coming to you with my weekly budget, showing you how I'm spending my money and how I'll be a millionaire. And hit that like button if you like this video. See ya.